Ellison and family, doing business as DBA, Aurelius Longevity Therapies. San-Prater, Prater, and daughters. Doing business as DBA, Top Wiki. Audience 1. Who is the business plan written for? First and foremost, every single great speaker speaks to as many people as possible at once, simultaneously. It is the definition, technical, of being a good leader, speaking to multiple audiences simultaneously. But there still is a priority. If everybody else misses the message, who needs to make sure, who is priority number one? If all else fails, that one can't fail. So it's always biased, more energy, more time, more attention. So this is for Ellison and family. Wife and children, to ensure slow, sustainable, and this is a really biggie, to make it fun, sustainable, altruistic, ethical, and profitable. Moves in terms of family capital allocation, time, energy, money, and attention. Audience 2 for Aurelius Longevity Therapies. Who is the 19-page business plan written for? Now, you can modify any of this. I'm just putting this down to help put training wheels on my mind and help put training wheels on your mind in terms of my philosophies, my biases, my opinions. This can all change because I want to make it fun. I want to make it slow and sustainable. Audience 2, the genetic research community, hormone replacement therapy. It's a big industry when it comes to longevity. And various other scientific community, ethics boards. Audience 3, world-class legal teams. Business is based upon legalities, insurance policies, transparency. World-class legal teams who have experience placing multi-generational family businesses on major stock exchanges in India, America, Hong Kong, and such. And audience 4, any anonymous internet user. So then we go to, I thought I would create this simultaneously and then talk about one page at a time. Give me feedback. We can build these business plans simultaneously in a super slow, fun, sustainable, altruistic, ethical, transparent way. So number 1 for me is my daughters, our daughters, so they can treat this document like the U.S. Constitution, a living document. Law governs society, rule of law. No one individual can change everything around and collapse something overnight because it's built to be slow and stable, like the U.S. Constitution. Nothing is allowed to happen too fast because it could jeopardize the integrity of everything. Our daughters, so they can treat this document like a living document, seldomly amended, constantly reviewed, and the big one is passed down from one generation to the next. That way it's not just a super fun, flighty business plan that gets written and in 6 months doesn't make any sense, nobody really cares about it, and it dies. The way to ensure success is to work at something long enough. This is my opinion, obviously. If you work at anything, if you work at bodybuilding for 30, 50, 60 years, eventually it will succeed. Eventually people will figure it all out in terms of what you're trying to do with the business. Seldomly amended, constantly reviewed, and passed down from one generation to the next. Audience 2. It's kind of, this one is a little bit controversial in my mind because I like helping poor people and I take everybody seriously. But a lot of times if you want to become an expert at something, you find the people who are already experts at that. You have to have a strong degree of influence from them. It's just kind of a weird, sad way that life works. Whether you want to learn a language, hang out with people who already speak that language. And in terms of people who place net worth first, cash flow second, understand financial statements, what is market capitalization, how do you become a billionaire? It's done by taking a company public. What does that mean? It basically boils down to billionaires, multi-billionaires, speak a totally different language than people who aren't. That's just the way that one works. So it's billionaires and their friends. So when you write them a letter or correspondence, you're not just trying to target them, because when they get a letter or an email directed solely at them, then their friends don't necessarily feel the permission to open it, read it, and respond on their behalf. So you always write like billionaires and friends, or billionaires and family and friends, who might enjoy helping guide and design an informal education system that gradually replaces the Prussian model. This is for TopWiki. Without writing an entire book on this, it's just kind of like a summary. Audience 3, all heads of all UN nation states with respect to the 5 major faiths. Education is still mostly controlled by religion, opinion, and philosophy, in my opinion, with the scientific process being the mechanism which we have to try to achieve group reality, meaning that results can be reproduced by other people in the group over time in different time periods. So it's a way to try to get to objective group reality, which is actually a very unique, specific concept that doesn't necessarily associate with reality, if there is such a thing. And then audience 4 is Nobel Prize laureates, because having an education system, at least in part, designed by Nobel laureates, which usually are the anonymous internet users that update Wikipedia and other things, but don't want to be held to the highest standards in terms of like, oh, you wrote this. It's like they did it in their underwear, where they were like doing things maybe they shouldn't be doing and other things. And it's 1,000 times better than if they didn't, but they don't want to be held at the standards they're normally accustomed to. It's a real phenomenon. So anyways, this gives us something to talk about, and I love you, and I look forward to modifying it with you. All right, man.